Hey y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to Born Barbecue. My name is Spencer. Today we are going to be making pork spare ribs. In fact, we're making 2 sets of pork spare ribs. I don't know if you guys can see behind me. I'm probably blocking this little guy. We just picked up a very well-loved vertical offset smoker. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a post oak and pecan blend inside of the vertical offset, and we're going to be using Pit Boss competition blend inside the pellet grill. A lot of people on a lot of forums, Facebook, YouTube, etc., always seem to be asking, well, is there really a big difference between a pellet grill and an offset? You know, today we're going to find out. We're going to put that to the test. We're going to do a double blind. I've got one of my buddies coming over tonight. We're going to have some ribs, and we will see if in fact there is a noticeable difference in bark, in color, in flavor, etc., etc., etc. On the spare ribs, we're going to be going through a very light trim. I did not get St. Louis style cut. I didn't want them nearly to be that aggressive. We're going to be going a Texas style, which typically involves cutting off the bone at the top of the ribs right here, which I'll bring you guys in a little bit closer, and we're going to go through that. All right, y'all. 2 knives. Big chef's knife to cut off some of these bones. A boning knife, like as if we were going to trim up a brisket. Packaging off. Sharp knife is key, but that's nothing new. All right, y'all. So like we talked about, we got this chine bone right here that we're going to want to cut off. This guy runs right here. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip this thing back around. We're going to try and find right where that bone is. It's about right here. And we're just going to give a nice crunch down. There we go. Now, depending on what you like to do, you could use these as stock. I'm just going to toss it. I've really got no use for it. Just so you can see. Right there is what that little guy looks like. And then we're going to take this boning knife back again. We're just going to round up some of these edges. We don't want anything pointy. Again, just like a brisket, right? We don't want those pointy edges. Do that. I'm going to trim up just a little bit of this. You could trim up more if you'd like. I just want to kind of get it nice to where it's rounded. This is good usable pork. You can do things with it if you would like. And then we're just going to take this guy here. Look at that. All right. That is beautiful. See that nice rounded slope that we've got to it? When it comes to barbecue, everything you do, you want to have aerodynamics. It's extremely important. I always go back to brisket because so many people put brisket as like the holy grail of barbecue. And there's a lot that can be learned about trimming depending on how aggressive you want to get with it. Because this cut is not terribly fatty the way I lucked out on it, there's not really a whole lot to have to cut off. Sometimes you may end up with some high spots of fat. You know, like this is really not that bad right here. Some guys might want to cut it off. Depends on how fatty of a bite you want. It's not really got to be, you know, an excessive trim. I think most people are fine having a fattier set of ribs. Just some of these high spots, just want to kind of take down. This thing looks beautiful. Very, very little trimming on this one. We're also going to do, we're going to turn it around. We're leaving the membrane on these today. Going to see how that works out. A lot of times we do pull it off. Today we're just not going to. What we will be doing is we'll be taking this, we'll set right here, and we'll be trimming it down nice and flush. Typically, I've noticed that when you don't do that, this side can tend to kind of crisp up a little bit too much. It might affect your bite, and the last thing you want is having like a really sharp bite. What you could also do if you wanted, you could trim off this last bone right here. There's really not a whole lot of extra meat on that side of it. It's a little sharp. I'm going to leave it on. I'm not wanting to get terribly aggressive today. I do want more of a light trim. So this right here is going to be good enough for me. What I'll do is clean these up, and then from there, we're gonna put a binder, we're gonna season them. All right, y'all. So now that the trim is done, we're gonna do this a little unconventional. So I said we're doing a Texas style cut. We're not sticking 100% with Texas. I live in North Carolina. I was born and raised in Louisiana. I don't necessarily have a particular region I have to abide by. And honestly, I just get kind of tired of everybody going, well, it's not true Texas barbecue. It's not true North Carolina barbecue. It's not Kansas City barbecue. Make the barbecue the way you want to make the barbecue. At the end of the day, that's what matters. You're the one eating it, so enjoy it. I'm making these ribs with G. Hughes sugar-free, spicy, and sweet barbecue sauce. I'm pairing that with a bit of Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce. That is going to be my binder today. Just get a little drizzle of that in there. Rub it in. And from there, we're going to throw on some 16 mesh black pepper. We're going to toss it on first. We're doing that because we want that pepper to stick. What I've noticed can happen is if you put on your other seasonings first, like I've got a blend put together for today, I've noticed that what happened is sometimes your pepper can bounce off. We're going to do a light dusting. Nothing crazy. Some guys want to be 3 feet up in the air when they're doing this. I just really don't like to waste. Not that these are expensive seasonings. It's just, why waste if you don't have to? I'm again going to do a heavier coat. That's what the pepper is going to look like for right now. And then after that, I've got a seasoning blend that's also got some pepper cracked up into it. This is paprika, salt, pepper, garlic. It's just a good barbecue blend. The paprika gives you your real nice coloring, and it really helps form up your bark. All right, so we're going to pat this baby in, and then we're going to flip it over. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. You can let it adhere if you want to. I don't really have the time today to let things adhere, so pat it in. It works. It's not got to be anything crazy. Again, a little bit of this hot sauce as our binder. You don't have to use hot sauce. You don't have to use mustard. You don't have to use oil. You could use water. You could use nothing at all. People do that as well. Same thing, light dusting of the 16 mesh. Now this is up to taste. Obviously, the more you put, the little bit sharper that pepper taste you're going to get. I don't mind it. I honestly prefer it. I tend to go a little heavier than what most other people would do. All right, again, we're going to be dusting this on. It's a bit windy going out today, but it's not a problem because we're going to pat this in. So if we get a little bit more seasoning on one side, we're going to carry it over. It's not the end of the world, guys. We can maneuver some things. If you have an unsteady hand or the wind catches you or whatever the case may be, just work with it. It's not the end of the world. We're not in competition. It's not got to be perfect. It's going to get eaten the same way, either way. All right, and that is our final product. That's what's going to be getting smoked for the next 5-6 hours, and that is what we're going to be eating at the end of the day. Now we're going to spritz these ribs so they don't get too dry. Nothing crazy, just a light spritz. This is the spray bottle we got going on here. A couple bucks from Lowe's, gets the job done. Inside of there, I will be putting a link in the description below, the mix that I add up together. It's a little bit of a homemade concoction. Everybody's got their own special thing. Check out them ribs in the pellet grill. These things, whoo, baby, they're looking sexy. A little bit of pulling, nothing crazy. Almost getting to the point where we're going to be kind of putting them in a wrap, not a traditional wrap. Not quite enough pullback on the bones yet. And then in the vertical, man, those things are looking good. You can see a little bit of the flames down there in the offset box. Got a little bit of rib pullback, hard to see. Pretty tight quarters up in this thing, but beautiful, beautiful color. So, all right, y'all, got an insulated barbecue glove. We are about to grab those ribs. They are ready to get wrapped up. I'm going to show you guys how we are wrapping those up today. Let me grab them real quick. Oh, man. Those things are looking amazing. All right, bring you in a little closer, show you how we're wrapping these babies. All right, y'all, so I decided to pull these because we have a little bit of bone showing. That's about where I like to pull them if I'm going to be wrapping them. what we've got going on is we're going to be throwing down a little bit of barbecue sauce. I showed you guys earlier, sweet and spicy sauce. And then we're also going to take some of that Spritz that we're using earlier, and we're going to spray it on there just to help give it a little bit more liquidity so that it's able to spread out a little bit easier. You're probably thinking, Spencer, sugar-free and you're not doing brown sugar? We're trying to do a little bit different today, okay? Again, like I said earlier, we don't always have to go by try and true methods, right? That's how other options have came to be, is because other people decided to do things differently. We're going to put these guys face down, and then we're going to put a little bit more barbecue sauce, drizzle a little bit more over the top. Just want it to kind of get tacked up a little bit more. And we are going to spritz the top side of these as well. We're going to fold the tinfoil up, and we're going to stick these babies back inside the smoker until they're about ready to go. I have not been temping these. I've just been going by feel. It's what a lot of guys will tell you they do as well. Once you get a good pliability in the rib, that's generally when you know it's time to pull it out, start the wrap process, and from there, we'll let it cook down some more with this barbecue sauce, and they'll be ready to serve not too much longer. All right, there you have it. Nice wrapped set of ribs. All right, the moment of truth, y'all. We're going to turn these over. Let's see. Get nice in between those bones. Man, these things are juicy. Whoo! Look at the smoke ring. All right, turn this other side over. Try to leave some of that on there. Phenomenal smoke ring as well. All right, so like I promised, we've got 2 sets of ribs. No one knows which one is which. We're gonna see which one we like better for flavor, texture, etc., and kind of give you guys feedback, and from there, we're gonna get the results. So, dig in, we'll start with this plate first.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so good.
That's extremely juicy. Extremely juicy.
I think comes right off is not flavored.
Mm-hmm. You can taste a little bit of the heat underneath. Well, I'm drooling. You can taste a little bit of the heat underneath, but nothing crazy.
No, you look crazy.
I'm not. All right, so now we're gonna try the other one. This one, I feel like it might just been the side I cut it off of, or just the way the rack laid out. This one just seems to look. This one has better presentation.
A little bit more heat.
This one seems a little bit more pepper forward.
It does have a little more pepper in it.
Mm-hmm. Still super
Like you
tender.
said, like, presentation is good, better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first set, second set.
First.
First for sure, but presentation
Came out better on the second.
set.
Yeah. So the first set was actually the offset smoker. Ultimately, the offset smoker does produce the better ribs, but I ended up kind of changing up the way I did one versus the other. The offset one, I laid in the barbecue sauce. On the pellet grill, I actually just foil boated it. I did not lay it in the barbecue sauce. I think because of doing that, it didn't like break down the bark as much as it did on the offset, the first one, damaging the presentation. if I were to do that same style again, these were experiments. That's not the way I normally do my ribs. If I were to do them again, I would definitely do them the way I did on the pellet grill, doing them face up the whole time and not damaging that bark the way I did with the offset. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and come back and enjoy some more good eats.